Here are 3 signs the dark night of the soul is over. Finally. Number 1, you are focused on your life purpose. This typically means that you have healed the trauma that has kept you anchored in the dark night of the soul. Remember, out of the 5 stages of the dark night of the soul, stage 3 is healing the trauma. Stage 4 is finding your life purpose. And stage 5 is actually living and doing your life purpose. So healing trauma is a very inwardly focused energy. You start to get out of listening to the ego telling you what you need to do to survive, and you sink into that heart space and listen to what the heart says you should be doing to thrive. Yes. So that inward energy now turns to outward energy. Remember, the compass of your heart is always pointed toward the reason that you decided to incarnate, pointed toward your life purpose, which could be something very grandiose, like helping the collective consciousness ascend, or just living life on your terms, self-validating, self-approving, non-people-pleasing, sovereign for the very first time. And your very existence has now become an example to others that need to find their power or find their voice. So now that you have regained focus, direction, and clarity on action steps of moving toward your life purpose, this is an excellent sign that you've made it out of the dark night of the soul. Finally. And the second sign the dark night of the soul is over is that you have a newfound sense of inner peace and calmness, a new sense of acceptance and surrender. What does surrender mean? It means that you are trusting that all of the change, uncertainty, chaos, and pain is for your highest good. You're getting more comfortable when you see uncertainty and change because of what you've gone through with the dark night of the soul. Maybe in the past, if you saw a little bit of change on the horizon or there was some uncertainty in the air, you'd freak out and go into a panic attack and get a whole bunch of anxiety.
Oh, hell no.
But now, with the hindsight of the dark night of the soul, you understand that all of that change is for your up-leveling, your greatest transformation, your greatest version to step onto your timeline, because you've healed everything that was keeping you from living your greatest version. Now, before we get on to the third sign, the dark night of the soul is over. If you need a helping hand getting through the dark night of the soul, we can work together one-on-one through Zoom. Check the pinned comment below. You can send a text for a quick discovery call for the one-on-one coaching, or if you want to work with me virtually, I just finished my new online course, How to Meditate, Self-worth healing, self-love healing, shadow work, and inner child work are all included in this course that will definitely get you into your greatest version. Click the link to check that out. And now back to the video. And the third sign, the dark night of the soul is over. Finally, is you have a greater sense of connection to your fellow human and the world around you. This typically leads to more meaningful and deeper relationships. Once you heal that trauma that in the past would not allow you to love yourself, would not allow you to value yourself, would not allow you to trust yourself. Once you heal all of that, you are actually able to love, value, and trust someone else instead of trauma bonding to them. Stop doing that. This means that you're starting relationships from an empowered state with a new sense of wholeness and completeness. In the past, you may have started a relationship from a disempowered state, meaning you were starting that relationship from the false self. Remember, the false self is that identity that the ego says you need to be to survive. Well, if you're starting a relationship from the standpoint of needing to survive, you're starting that relationship from a disempowered state. And that means that relationship is meant to be a short-term lesson instead of a long-term, mutually beneficial, symbiotic relationship. Notice that there's one overarching theme of all 3 of these signs that the dark night of the soul is over, and that is a reshifting of that inwardly focused energy to outwardly focused energy. That's because you fixed that inward frequency that was in alignment with fear, and now you're ready to outwardly, fearlessly express your authentic truth to the world. I hope that this has helped. Congratulations on getting out of the dark night of the soul. I love you guys. Namaste.